HDB selling process explained step by step as of 2026. Hi everyone, if you're planning to sell your HDB flat in Singapore, this video will walk you through the resale process step by step. Whether you're upgrading, right sizing, or planning your next property move, understanding the timeline and process can help make the journey smoother. Step 1. Check eligibility to sell. Before selling your flat, first make sure minimum occupation period (MOP) has been fulfilled. All owners agree to the sale. There should be no restrictions preventing the transaction. You can check this through HDB's My Flat dashboard. As an agent, I can help check your eligibility, estimate your sale proceeds, and discuss your next property plans and affordability. Step 2. Register intent to sell. Sellers must register an intent to sell through HDB before issuing the option to purchase OTP. Once submitted, HDB will provide eligibility information, ethnic quota details, recent nearby transaction prices, important resale information. There is also a mandatory 7-day waiting period before the OTP can be granted. The intent to sell is valid for 12 months. It must remain valid when the OTP is granted and during the submission of the resale application. It's critical that the seller details, buyer details, and family member information declared across intent to sell, HFE letter, OTP, request for value resale application should remain consistent. Any mismatch in information may result in delays or possible rejection of the resale application by HDB. As an agent, how I can help? Guide you through the HDB submission process, explain ethnic quota implications, share nearby market transaction insights, help plan the overall selling timeline, help ensure information submitted across all stages remains accurate and consistent. Step 3. Prepare and market the flat. Next comes preparation and marketing. This stage usually includes preparing the unit for viewing, taking property photos, marketing the flat on property portals, arranging buyer viewings, responding to inquiries. Proper presentation and pricing strategy can play a big role in attracting buyers and achieving better offers. As an agent, how I can help? Advise on unit presentation and preparation, arrange professional marketing materials, market the property across multiple platforms, filter buyer inquiries, recommend pricing strategy based on market conditions, coordinate viewing schedules. Step 4. Viewings and negotiation. Interested buyers will start viewing the property. During this stage, buyers assess the unit, offers are discussed, price and terms are negotiated. Factors such as location, floor level, condition, facing, renovation, and market demand can affect buyer interest and pricing. As an agent, how I can help? Conduct viewings professionally, highlight key selling points of the unit, negotiate pricing and terms, help manage buyer expectations, reduce unnecessary viewing disruptions. Step 5. Grant option to purchase, OTP, and valuation request. Once both parties agree on the terms, the seller grants the HDB option to purchase, OTP. The buyer must have a valid HFE letter before the OTP is granted. The option fee is negotiable between buyer and seller, subject to HDB's limit of minimum $1, maximum $1,000. The option period is the period from the date the OTP is granted until the buyer exercises or lets the OTP expire. For HDB resale transactions, the buyer must exercise the OTP before 4 p.m. on the 21st calendar day after the OTP is granted. During this option period, the seller cannot grant another OTP to other buyers. After receiving the OTP, the buyer who is using CPF savings or taking a housing loan from HDB or a bank financial institution must submit a request for value to HDB. The request for value must usually be submitted by the next working day after the buyer receives the OTP. Only the buyer who has been granted the OTP can submit the request for value. The submission can be done either by the buyer or the buyer's agent. Once HDB receives the request for value, another request for value for the same flat cannot be submitted until the OTP expires. The valuation is important because it determines the official market value of the flat, it affects CPF usage, it affects loan amount calculations. In some cases, HDB may arrange for a physical inspection of the flat, especially if there is a significant difference between the agreed sale price and estimated market value. The seller must allow HDB's assigned valuer to inspect the flat within 3 working days after HDB notifies the seller about the assigned valuer. HDB will then issue the valuation report, which is usually available within a few working days. As an agent, how I can help? Ensure OTP is properly prepared, check buyer's HFE status before proceeding, explain important timelines and conditions, advise on likely market valuation based on recent transactions, guide buyers and sellers on pricing strategy, guide on engaging a lawyer if required. Step 6. Buyer exercises OTP and submit resale application. If the buyer decides to proceed, the option to purchase OTP must be exercised before 4 p.m. on the 21st calendar day after the OTP is granted. When exercising the OTP, buyer signs the OTP, buyer pays the option exercise fee to the seller, seller receives the signed OTP and exercise fee. For buyers taking a bank loan, they must also have a valid letter of offer from the bank or financial institution before exercising the OTP. HDB's limits for the exercise fee are minimum $1, maximum $4,000. The total deposit collected by the seller, option fee plus exercise fee, cannot exceed $5,000. After the OTP is exercised, buyer and seller submit resale applications to HDB. Submission is usually done within 7 days of each other. If needed, temporary extension of stay arrangements can also be included during submission. As an agent, how I can help? Coordinate OTP exercise timelines, ensure important deadlines are not missed, guide on exercise fee and payment limits, coordinate signed OTP collection, guide on required documents. Step 7. HDB acceptance, endorsement and legal processing. After the resale application is submitted, HDB will process the application. HDB will usually notify both buyer and seller within about 28 working days after submission whether the resale application has been accepted. In many cases, acceptance may come earlier, often within about 1 week after submission. Once accepted, HDB will send an email notification which usually includes inspection details if required, endorsement instructions, estimated completion date. HDB will also notify the sellers and buyers via SMS to endorse the required documents in the HDB flat portal within 6 calendar days. The seller's spouse who is not an owner of the flat and the buyer's spouse who is listed as an occupier in the resale application must also endorse the spouse consent or acknowledgement form in the HDB flat portal. If the spouse is overseas, the form may need to be signed before a notary public. The seller and buyer must also make the necessary payments requested by HDB within the specified timeline. Important notes. No renovation works should be carried out before resale completion. If renovation works are done before completion, both buyer and seller may be jointly responsible for any damage caused to the flat or building. HDB may require rectification works before completion. Flat owners must also ensure sliding windows have proper safety features installed. Casement windows comply with HDB safety requirements and regulations. HDB's approval is also subject to rectification of any unauthorized alterations, payment of outstanding taxes, conservancy charges, arrears, debts, or other charges owed to HDB. As an agent, how I can help? Remind all parties on endorsement deadlines. Coordinate spouse endorsement requirements. Step 8. HDB approval and completion scheduling. After all required endorsements and payments are completed, HDB will finalize the approval process. The resale documents for endorsement are usually ready about 3 weeks after HDB accepts the resale application. The resale completion date is usually around 8 weeks from HDB's acceptance of the resale application. This is generally the earliest possible completion timeline. As an agent, how I can help? Coordinate completion timeline planning. Help align your selling and next property purchase timelines. Assist with transition planning and handover preparation. Step 9. Completion appointment. On completion day, ownership officially transfers, seller hands over keys, sale proceeds are disbursed, buyer officially takes possession of the flat. The seller must ensure that service and conservancy charges are fully paid up to the completion date. Any outstanding obligations to HDB are settled. The buyer must also pay remaining purchase price, stamp fees, registration fees if applicable based on HDB's payment instructions before completion. Failure to make the required payments may delay or prevent the resale completion. As an agent, how I can help? Coordinate final handover arrangements. Remind parties on final payment requirements. Here's a quick overview of the typical HDB resale selling timeline. First, check your eligibility and register your intent to sell through HDB. After the mandatory 7-day waiting period, you can start marketing your flat, arrange viewings, and negotiate with buyers. Once both parties agree, the seller grants the option to purchase, also known as the OTP. The buyer then submits the request for value if using CPF or a housing loan. The buyer must exercise the OTP within 21 calendar days. After that, both buyer and seller submit the resale applications to HDB. HDB will process the application and both parties will later endorse the required documents online. Once approval is completed, the resale completion appointment is usually around 8 weeks after HDB accepts the application. On completion day, ownership is transferred, keys are handed over, and sale proceeds are disbursed. Timelines may vary depending on the case and document completeness. Selling an HDB flat involves multiple stages, timelines, documentation, negotiations, and coordination. Having a proper understanding of the process can help sellers better prepare for timeline planning, financial planning, upgrading decisions, transition arrangements for the next home. If you found this video helpful, feel free to follow for more Singapore property tips and updates. Reach out to me today. Ramesh 91166802